Thomas. It's up for grabs now.
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira.
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it.
Fabulous solo goal by Thierry Henry.
Champions.
Afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Arsenal Lounge. Finally, we're here. It's been a mad day behind the scenes. I can just tell you guys that. It's been a lot of things going back and forth. But finally, Fabrizio, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I know you're running a bit late, and we had a lot of things earlier. But
sorry,
thank you,
it's
man.
my fault. It's my fault.
No. You helped out on other things to make the show happen today, which I'm grateful. And
No problem.
Mo, welcome. Obviously, this is the first transfer we're doing with Fabrizio, and you're here. Lee Judges, he was going to be with us, but he's not going to make it today because obviously the show was a bit back and forth. My fault a little bit for getting the times wrong, and so on. So basically, Lee's not going to be here, and Fabrizio, this is his busiest time of the year, so it's his peak for his work. So he's got limited time with us as well. So we start getting to this quite quickly. Fabrizio, I always ask you this question at the beginning of a show. You normally explain a little bit, but because I know the answer, I just want to hear it from you. A yes or no will do. Is Mikel Arteta going to stay or go?
Yes, he will stay. I'm
All
sure.
right. We got that. I knew the answer, but I thought I'll double check. So I don't know. Mo, I know you got a lot of questions. I've got a lot of questions that people have messaged and we want to ask you. So we'll try to get through as much as we can. Mo, go ahead, my friend.
Guess, Fabrizio, guess. The one name, the one person I'm going to ask you about. Have one wild guess.
That's good question. I would say maybe Buendia. I don't know.
It was actually the other one, the other B.
Oh, okay. Grealish.
No,
no,
B.
Bissouma.
Bissouma.
Ah, B. Okay. Perfect.
Grealish is obviously a dream signing, right?
Yes.
In terms of the one that I think is really realistic and the one that I really want, the one that I think is such a good player, can play for any top six club. And when I look at some of the midfielders in the top six clubs, I think he's better than that guy, better than that guy, better than that guy. That's Bissouma. I really would love to see him join Arsenal. So I'm hanging on every word you've got to say, Fabrizio.
Yes, about Bissouma, to be honest, what I'm told is that he's one of the players in the list. So 100% Arsenal are considering Bissouma as potential opportunity. He's one of the options. He's so appreciated by the board. So there is something between Arsenal and Bissouma. The only thing missing is that what I'm told is that Bissouma is not in the first position. That's why they are looking also for other options. Maybe they have also different kind of players because maybe they're looking for something different as skills. They for sure love Bissouma as a player, the potential he has. What you said, Mo, is 100% true. He could play in every top club in England and not only in England. He's a fantastic player. He's skillful. He's a fighter. He's good. He has good mentality. He's focused on football, I'm told also, so he's a good guy. But now Arsenal are considering him, but he's not in the first position. That means that maybe in the next weeks they can try really to afford them to sign him, or that they can go for something different as skills, as kind of midfielder, I would say.
Fabrizio, you said it's actually quite surprising. Who's the first name on the list?
That's a good question. To be honest with you, I don't know yet about the first name, but they have another name on the list. That is not Bissouma.
Do you know
Bissouma is in the list, to be clear. So maybe Bissouma will arrive, but it's not the first position.
You know this name that we don't know right now that is on top. Do you know possibly what position is that?
Yes, it's a midfielder. He's a midfielder as Bissouma, but maybe I'm told with different skills. So maybe more a quality player than a Thomas kind of player, to speak about what kind of midfielder they're looking for. So maybe a player closer to Ceballos than to Thomas as kind of player for Arsenal midfield. That's what they're looking for. But Bissouma is in the list, so maybe in some weeks they will go for Bissouma. We will see. But in the first position is not Bissouma.
You mentioned Ceballos, and I think that raises an interesting point because Ceballos, he gets around the pitch a lot. He works hard. He's got a bit of that ego about him that if you get the better of him, he will snap back at you. But on top of that, he's got an element of creativeness as well. Now, I look at Joe Willock, and I look at his end to the season, and I think, why can't Joe Willock come in and be given the opportunity that Ceballos was given for Arsenal. Clearly, it hasn't worked out with Ceballos. Do you have any idea about Joe Willock, how the board, how the club see him, and whether there's any interest in him, whether Newcastle can mount a bid, or whether he'll be at Arsenal?
Yes, what I'm told about Willock, first of all, talking about news, is that he will have the opportunity to show his skills with Arsenal. So he will be one of the players in the pre-season with the team, with the first team, to have the opportunity to show to Mikel Arteta what he can do and how he's improved at Newcastle during this low spell. So he will have this opportunity. But the situation on the transfer market for Willock is Arsenal are ready to listen for offers if important bids will arrive. When I mean important is if some club will arrive with 20 million euro, it will be, no, thank you, the player is staying. If they will arrive maybe with a double, I don't know if 40, 45, it will be decided by Arsenal, not by me. But if we arrive an important bid, that would help Arsenal to sign a different player, maybe in different position, investing this money in a different position, okay, this could be an opportunity. So Willock is going to have his chance with Arsenal. They are not intentional to give him on loan or this kind of solution. But if an important bid will arrive, Willock will have the chance to leave Arsenal. At the moment, no one has offered like 40 million euro. So we need to wait some weeks and see. But Arsenal are so relaxed with this player because if you keep him, as you said, he's a fantastic talent, he's improved. So they are open to give him the chance. If not, he's leaving for a big fee. And that means for Arsenal that they will have money to spend on the market.
Fabrizio, you know what? You say this, and I think if we start with the outgoings first, because there's a lot of things going around today that I've seen, and then we'll come to the incoming. So in terms of Joe Willock, it's fair to say he's not. If a good offer comes for him, they'll consider it.
Yes.
So there's one thing that has been going around today quite a lot, and it's that apparently Arsenal are willing to listen to offers for Aubameyang. Do you know anything about that?
To be honest, I think that he's one of the players that with the good proposal, and when I say good, it has to be an important proposal. It's not just good. I would say important proposal. He has chances to leave. But at the moment, I'm told that they don't consider the player as a problem, let's say like this. So if something big happens, they are open. But if not, the player is 100% staying and they're happy with him.
So again, if a good offer comes in for Aubameyang, they will get rid of him.
Important bit, should be an important bit, because in this moment in the transfer market, what Arsenal know is that finding top strikers as Aubameyang is really difficult because Lukaku is staying at Inter. Harry Kane is difficult to sign Harry Kane for English clubs from Tottenham with Daniel Levy involved in the negotiation. So Holland has a release clause not valid in this summer, but only from 2022. So signing top strikers will be complicated. That's why Arsenal say crazy bits, important crazy bits or nothing. That's it.
Fine. Another one that has been going around today is Hector Bellerin to Atletico Madrid. Is there any truth in that? Or if there is, him and Guendouzi to Marseille? Because I know we talked about this before. I'll be very interested to know about the fees that is involved, if you know at all.
So starting with the situation of Bellerin, as we always said also here many times, he is leaving the club. So this summer he will leave. I'm told that with Atletico Madrid at the moment, there is nothing advanced because there are rumors about the possibility of Trippier leaving Atletico Madrid this summer and they're looking for a new right back. But I'm told that Atletico Madrid at the moment, they are happy with Trippier. They have no intention to sell Trippier. So at the moment, there is nothing advanced with Hector Bellerin. And about Betis too. They want him back. They have a good feeling, obviously. So Bellerin is always talking about Betis. It's normal. But at the moment, there are no advanced negotiations, as I see in Spain. So at the moment, he's still quiet. He will leave the club, but he's still quiet with Bellerin. And that's it. About Guendouzi, I'm told that with Marseille, negotiations are going on. Guendouzi has personal terms almost agreed with Marseille. So the player is ready to leave. Marseille are really pushing. Also, Hertha Berlin were considering the opportunity of keeping the player, but they know that with Marseille involved, it's impossible. So Marseille are ready. They want to close the deal. They want Guendouzi strongly. And we will see in the next days, because at the moment from Marseille sources too, they're saying that they have the agreement with the player, but not yet with Arsenal. They are ready, but they have no agreement on the fee. So we need to wait some days also to understand the final fee and if they can complete the agreement, because Guendouzi ready, but Arsenal and Marseille not yet.
Fabrizio, if I wanted to, sorry, Mo, I'm just going to ask something and I'll put you on. This is your personal opinion I'm going to ask, right? Matteo Guendouzi, if you know about these transfers, transfer markets. If you were to put a value on Matteo Guendouzi with everything that is with him as a package, how much would you say he's worth?
That's a good question, because also when we talk about Xhaka, I see reports around 25 million euro, and in my opinion, in this moment for the market is really difficult to get this money from these players going out on loan and with this kind of story. So I would say we are around, I would say 15, 20 million euro, no more than this. That's my feeling. But also using add-ons could be key in this negotiation. I'm told that Marseille want to use add-ons to arrive to reach the agreement with Arsenal. So maybe if we get the Champions League spot, we are paying you 2 million euro more, something like this. So they are thinking of this kind of structure for the deal. They have the agreement with the player, but Arsenal want money. They want money now because they want to invest money in the transfer window, in the current transfer window. So it will be a topic in the next days, I think, because the player wants to go. Guendouzi wants to go to Marseille.
Fair enough. Mo?
Odegaard. Any news? Do we know?
Yes, I can tell you that 100% Arsenal, if they will have a chance to sign Odegaard, they're going to continue to talk with the player and Real Madrid, because Odegaard was really in love with the club, was in love with the atmosphere, was in love with the board. It's crazy because the season was really disappointing from Arsenal, but you have the history, you have the board, you have the fans. So the player is 100% happy with Arsenal life, with Premier League life in general. Was his first experience in Premier League, and I'm told that he was 100% happy. So Odegaard would be open, but of course he's a Real Madrid player, and being at Real Madrid is something good. He's waiting for Carlo Ancelotti to decide. Next week, at the start of next week, Carlo Ancelotti will have a meeting with the board of Real Madrid to decide on this kind of players coming back from the loans. So Odegaard, Gareth Bale, this kind of situation, Brahim Diaz from AC Milan, they will meet and they will decide on these players. So for sure, also Odegaard is waiting to see what Real Madrid are going to say to him, because from the board, till Zidane was in charge, from the board they were saying Odegaard is 100% staying. No chance for Arsenal. So this was Real Madrid position. Now with Ancelotti, they have to decide with another manager, and we will see in the next days what they will say about Odegaard. But the player is open to stay at Arsenal. So till Arsenal will have the chance to keep Odegaard, they will try. They will 100% try, because they were loving the player and the player was loving his Arsenal life.
So tell me this then. Who's Arsenal's priority, Odegaard or Buendia, or can we see a summer transfer window where we sign both of those players in addition to Emil Smith-Rowe already being at the club?
Yes, I think it's not just a matter of priorities. For sure, Odegaard is a priority for Arsenal. I can tell you for sure, but they have to be prepared if Odegaard is staying at Real Madrid, and if Real Madrid continues saying that Odegaard is staying, they want to be prepared with Emi Buendia, who is in the list, who is 100% one of the options. They are talking with Norwich, they are talking with his agents, they opened talks in December, and they reopened talks some weeks ago to be prepared. So I think it's part of a top club and of top board to do these kind of things. So negotiate with different players in the same moment, because with Real Madrid, they change their mind day by day. Real Madrid are really particular. Imagine that when Arsenal were inquiring first time for Odegaard in January, it was the end of December, and Real Madrid say, no, impossible, we're not selling the player on loan. And then 20 days after, they decided to sell the player and to loan him out at Arsenal. So that's why they changed their position always, and that's why Arsenal want to be prepared. But for sure, they are also negotiating for Emi Buendia.
So it won't be both. I just want to clarify that. Is there any chance it will be both, or is it just going to be one or the other?
There are chances. I would say there are chances, because at the moment they are talking for both. But I don't expect, to be honest, this is my personal opinion, that Arsenal are signed both players. They are negotiating on both sides, waiting on Real Madrid side and negotiating on Buendia's side. But I don't expect both to join. But they are working on both, so we have to respect it, because I'm not the sport director. It's
yeah.
Fine. Fabrizio, is it? I just want to clarify something. Have Arsenal put in a bid that has been rejected for Buendia?
Yes, they opened negotiation. Yes,
okay.
It was from past hours. It's not like days ago. It's a matter of hours.
This is more or less, should we say, is a bit of a breaking news that Arsenal put in a bid about 2-3 hours ago and it's been rejected.
No, it was 24 hours ago. Yesterday they started to.
Yeah.
They were in negotiation with the player. I would say the representative of the player. So they were talking with him. Buendia is 100% open to join Arsenal, but they were also preparing to start to open negotiation with Norwich, and they were starting with this bid. But it's the opening bid, I would say. So it's part of the game to start like this, and they have good relationship with Norwich, so there will be negotiation. But they are also waiting on Odegaard. So they have also kind of strategy in this Buendia and Odegaard story.
Fine. You obviously know everybody in Europe, right? and most of the things. What can you tell us about Luis Campo? And why is it that he's been linked with Arsenal? To come here as what? Is he coming to replace Edu, or what capacity? Is this a real story, or is it just a story that is just going around?
No, the story is that many clubs have inquired about Luis Campos, because if you want my personal opinion, Luis Campos is one of the best 3 or 4 executives in football. If you want my personal opinion, then
Yes, of course.
one thing is working in clubs like Monaco, like Lille. One other thing is working in Arsenal or this kind of clubs with big history, many fans, and it's another word. It's completely different. But Luis Campos is fantastic. Imagine what he did at Monaco was incredible. What he did at Lille was incredible. Lille won the league with players signed by Luis Campos against Paris Saint-Germain. It's something incredible. I think it's really underrated what Lille did with Luis Campos. So about Arsenal links, I'm told that it's true that Arsenal, but also other English clubs, made inquiry, not now, but weeks and months ago with Luis Campos, because now he's available. So just to talk with him about potential vision and projects. But I'm told that at the moment, Real Madrid are really pushing to have Luis Campos in their board more than French and English clubs. Then let's see with Luis Campos till the last minute, because he's really particular. He wants to be 100% sure about the project before saying, yes, I'm working for this club. So we need to wait a bit to see what happens with Real Madrid. But for sure, Real Madrid are pushing to have Luis Campos.
Fabrizio, I find it really interesting that you say that your personal opinion, you hold Luis Campos in such high regard. And it makes me think, what's your opinion, or what regard do you hold the current Arsenal executives in? People like Edu, people like Vinay, and also people like Josh Kroenke. Where do they stand in your list in Europe?
I like to talk about the technical part, more than the ownership. I like to talk about the technical part, so on who's working on transfer market, and in this case is Edu. To be honest with you, I was looking at Edu also when he was working at Corinthians in Brazil, doing an amazing job with this club, and then they will destroy the years later. But with Edu, they were fantastic. So I think Edu is one of the top ones, but he needs time. This kind of directors, every director has a different strategy, a director of football. With Luis Campos, you need time. With Edu, you need time. You have other directors, for example, Palatici, the director that Tottenham are talking with now, he has a different style. So it's person by person, director by director. Edu, in my personal opinion, he's great as talent scout. He's great in the relationship with the players, with the agents, with the boards. He is a fantastic person, and that's why they like him, but also a fantastic director, but he needs time. As Arteta, also Edu, they need time to build something consistent. So if you want to win tomorrow morning, so 1 year ago, you have to go with something different. If you want to win in long term and to build something important in long term with good talents, a good team, I think Edu is one of the best ones in the game. I really rate him on a high level, really. I like Edu.
Fine. Thanks for that. I just want to say something. Obviously, we've got about 950 people watching. Please, obviously, hit the like, subscribe, follow Fabrizio, follow more, and we're going to come to more on his channel later. Fabrizio will leave us soon. Hopefully, we've got about another, 5-6 minutes with him. And then me and Mo will stay, and we'll go through everything that we discussed with Fabrizio. So I just want you guys to know. Everybody in the comments, Fabrizio is asking about Lokonga, and this has been going around quite a lot yesterday and today. Can you tell us anything about that?
He's a player that Arsenal have scouted in the last months, I would say. So he's a player. It's normal for top clubs to scout the players. I'm told that there is still nothing advanced on this side. So as we said for Bissouma is in the list. For Lokonga, the situation is a bit different because it's nothing advanced yet. He's being scouted, so if I would say appreciated, yes, because he's a good player, but he's not in the first position of the list. So Arsenal now have different priorities. We will see in the coming weeks, but now the priorities are a bit different for us.
Mo? I've got a couple of interesting ones, right? Bernd Leno, where there's a lot of rumors about him going and Onana joining. There's the kind of the court of arbitration case with Onana. Do you have any intel on that?
Yes, about Onana, the situation is so clear. Arsenal were really close to sign him in January. It was a top secret one because they were working directly with his agent and with Ajax, but they wanted to sign him in January to have the opportunity to start with him and then plan with him as goalkeeper for the future. Then he had some problems, as we know. So now the situation is that they have reopened talks with his agents. So they are negotiating with his agents. Onana is absolutely open in joining Arsenal, but it's not a done deal yet. They need to wait about the situation of the ban or the suspension. They are waiting for the court to say what's happening with Onana, how many months he will be out of the competition. And then Arsenal will decide, putting a bid, how much they are offering to Ajax. And so that's how they would manage this Onana situation. But Onana is one of the players in the list, and they have contacts with his agent. Wojciech Szczesny, I heard some rumors about him coming from Italy. It's not true. There is no chance for him to come back. He loves Arsenal, of course, because he was Arsenal player, Arsenal fan, but there are no chances at the moment, also because his salary is 7 million euro net per season. So at the moment, no. And about Leno, they are waiting to see what happens with Onana, because, of course, Leno is not to be the second goalkeeper. So if Onana is coming, I think Leno will be leaving Arsenal.
But do we have anyone on the table who's interested in Leno? Is there an exit strategy for him?
At the moment, there is nothing advanced, what I'm told. There are a lot of clubs inquiring, but nothing advanced. And we have to see what happens in particular in the German league, in the Bundesliga, and in La Serie A too, because in Serie A, many clubs are looking for goalkeeper. And in Bundesliga too. In England, I think it's a bit difficult, and same in other countries.
Fabrizio, this has been going around for a long time, right? And as we discussed this earlier in the show, and last time you were with us, we discussed this as well. Jack Grealish, is this now, considering everything, a realistic target for Arsenal? Is Jack Grealish name on that list that we discussed earlier? It may not be high on the list. It may even be that list, that name right on top that we don't know about. But in your opinion, is this a realistic target or a transfer?
I think it's really, really difficult, to be honest. I can't say that it's no or impossible, because I'm not working for Arsenal. So if they tomorrow morning wake up and decide to bid, I don't know. But at the moment, I see really, really difficult, because if Grealish moves is to play Champions League football, because some Champions League football clubs like Manchester City and many others, they are inquiring about Grealish, so they are waiting to see what happens with Aston Villa. So I think in this moment to enter in the race for Grealish is complicated, but impossible is nothing in football and in transfer market. So we will see. But at the moment, I think it's complicated. About the list, I think when you have players like Grealish, it's not a matter of list, Okay, players like many others, yes, but Grealish is something different. If you have the opportunity to sign these kind of players, you're going to do it. And Arsenal are going to do it if they have the opportunity. But at the moment, there is nothing advanced going on.
Fine. You mentioned Man City. So we're hearing a lot of stories about Man City, people like Sterling potentially. Is there going to be a lot of movement at Man City, and specifically Raheem Sterling?
Yes, also because they need to negotiate about the contract. They are talking. Is not an official discussion with Sterling, but they are talking with people close to the player, and they still have no agreement. So they need to decide if extending his contract or maybe selling him this summer. At the moment, Guardiola is still on the position that he wants to keep Raheem Sterling, but he's out of contract in 2 years, so they need to decide this summer if coming close to negotiation to extend the contract or not. I'm told that with Arsenal it's not something advanced, but it could become an opportunity. During the market there are different moments. You have moments where you do the strategy, when you have your priorities, but there is also the moment with the opportunities. Look at January. Odegaard was impossible in December and was an opportunity at the end of January. So it could be the same. Sterling could be impossible now because Pep wants to keep him and they want to discuss about new contract, but maybe during the summer could be an opportunity.
Fine. Fabrizio, I'm conscious about your time, and I know you need to go on Sky Italy Live. I'm going to ask you one last question, and obviously we'll say goodbye after that. What is the top target for Arsenal in the right-back area? Who is the priority? Because obviously you told us Bellerin is leaving definitely, so they're definitely signing somebody. Who is the one person they're after?
Let's see, because the dream was Achraf Hakimi. It's true that he was the dream. He was the dream for Arsenal, but when they knew about how much Inter is asking, 80 million euro, impossible. So Hakimi is not joining for this money, and Inter are negotiating now with Paris Saint-Germain, and also Chelsea have made an inquiry, but Paris Saint-Germain are seriously interested in Hakimi. So I think the dream was him, I'm told, and it's really complicated, more than complicated for us. So let's see what happens now with other right backs. I'm told that also Max Aarons, we had a lot of rumors about him, but he's not in the first position as right back. Lamptey is no longer an option. He was an idea in January, now is no longer an option. So maybe they will do something with a surprise, on this position. We will see, because at the moment there is still nothing advanced going on, and the top targets are complicated. So they're looking for something different, but I'm sure they will sign a new right back 100%.
Nice one. Listen, I know you need to go and you got a show, so I'll thank you again for coming on. We'll speak later on, and hopefully maybe towards end of transfer window or in the middle, we can do another show, and then obviously we get your wonderful information and your thoughts on everything that goes on. So again, thank you very much for coming on, Fabrizio. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for the invitation. Always a pleasure to be together with you, with Mo, and with the people looking at us. And thank you, really.
Yes. Thank you, Fabrizio. Cheers.
Hope the stress doesn't get too much, Fabrizio.
Bye. Thank
Enjoy.
you.
Yes. Right, guys. There's a lot. Just to recap, Mo. Listen, the impression that I got from this is that we've gone back to this whole we need to sell first, because we're willing to listen to offers for Aubameyang. We're willing to listen to offers for Joe Willock, and you know, what's your thoughts? What was the feeling you got from this?
The feeling that I got is that we're already very early on. We're much busier than I expected, because Arsenal generally, you know, they do all their business very late. But if you're listening to what Fabrizio has just said, I'd be quite frustrated if you know, we haven't done anything come end of July, for example. So I'm quite glad. I think that a lot of the things that he said, there's nothing that I think to myself, you know, I really, really don't want us to do that. I really disagree. For example, Bellerin going, okay, I don't mind that as much. I really like Hector Bellerin, especially as a person, but I don't think he's developed as much as what he should have. But I'm shocked that I never put him down as a Diego Simeone player. I cannot imagine. Wow. Given that he's going to go and play with Diego Simeone, I'd love it if it was a 1-year loan, you know, because he'd come back a different animal. I'd love to see what Hector Bellerin becomes under Simeone. As for Joe Willock, I think he deserves a chance. But clearly, if we get loads of money for him, then fair enough. Aubameyang as well, you know, I love him. He scored a lot of goals for Arsenal. But last season, it was a bit worrying in terms of the signs. So the fact that we're listening to offers, I'm not too bothered. But all of these things, the important thing is, who do we replace them with? Yeah. And if Hakimi's not the answer, I'm not convinced by some of the other right backs who've been linked with. I don't know who the right answer is as a centre forward. I'm not sure Dominic Calvert-Lewin necessarily suits our style of play. So from what Fabrizio said, not too bad, but do I trust Arsenal to go and get the right players afterwards? Yeah, I don't know about that. You tell me.
Yeah, I know, man. It's always an issue like this. Just before we go to another segment of the show, it's been a very eventful and busy past couple of weeks for you, Mo. You know, you got your new channel now. So do you want to tell people what the channel name is so they can follow you?
Yeah, it's just Mo Haidar. You know, I just thought that I didn't even want it to just be Arsenal Mo 8, which is like my handle on other social media, because I want to be free to talk about non-Arsenal stuff. I don't want anyone saying to me, you know, it's an only Arsenal channel. I want to be free to talk about what I want, wear what I want. You will all know the background. But yeah, it has been a couple of busy weeks for me. And I'm glad it's all behind me.
Most people have channels, Mo, and they don't come across issues with videos taken down and so on. So you had a new channel, one video, and it was taken down.
Yes, it was. Unfortunately,
that's a record, I think, man.
Yeah, man. Do you know what? Within 24 hours, I had about 20,000 views, and unfortunately, AFTV did take that down on a copyright claim, which you know, in the actual video itself, that whole video was about suppression of, you know, me wearing an item of clothing that says Palestine on there. So suppression of my support for Palestine. The one thing that you don't do is when there's a video about you suppressing people, you don't suppress that further. So I thought it was a bad move. But anyway, I re-recorded, video's gone up, 60,000 views. It poured fuel on the fire, really.
There was, I thought you mentioned something about the video that was anti-Semitic as well that was within the AFTV. What was that about? And also, I just want to know, has anybody even been in touch with you from AFTV just to say, you know what, let's sort this out? I don't know anybody. I don't know Robbie and the guys that are behind the scene for AFTV. But, you know, I would have thought that they would maybe get in touch to just, you know, maybe because you guys known each other for a while, maybe calm things down, sort things out a little bit.
Yeah, you know, that anti-Semitism one, you know, if anyone saw my first video, right, I put all of the AFTV clips within that video, and that's why they did the copyright claim. But the one clip I didn't put on there was the anti-Semitic one, because I got in touch with an organization that represents Jewish people to find out what I should do, whether it would be offensive to them, whether it would cause further hurt. And I sent him the link to the video, and he said, yeah, it is offensive. And he said to me, please don't put it up, because they didn't want to increase the audience. And obviously that's why I went to him in the first place, because I thought that might be the case. But you know what? I'm quite disappointed, actually. No one in AFTV has bothered to get in touch to say, oh, you know, please let us know what the video is. In fact, they've blocked me on all socials. So I can't even, you know, I just think that is very, very poor. You know, I would like to think, Shaheen, that if someone alerted you to something that offensive on your channel, the first thing you do would be like, right, let me know so I can take it down. But it's like they're not bothered, which I find very, very poor. I was expecting them to contact me just for that reason, not for any other reason, but just for that reason. But unfortunately not.
Well, listen, man, you know, you got all our support with your channel and everything that is going on. And I know it's going to be a big and interesting channel, Mo. And I know it's going to be a lot of content on it. But just going back to the topic, the interview that we had with obviously Fabrizio. So just to recap, obviously for people who are not here, Lokonga, we just scouted him. It's not a bid has gone in. Apparently, we put a bid for Buendía in the past. In the last 24 hours, that has been rejected. Onana, we're waiting to see what's happening with this court and the outcome before we put in a bid in. Arsenal will consider offer for Aubameyang if it's a considerable offer. So basically, if a good money comes in, Aubameyang is gone. One thing we didn't ask him was Xhaka, but in terms of right back position, Bellerin is definitely leaving, and Ashraf Hakimi obviously was a top target, but again, Arsenal working on a few different things.
We should have asked about Granit Xhaka. You know,
we missed out on that one.
People in the chat, let us know. But if we get rid of, I don't want to say get rid of, you know, but if we were to replace Xhaka, Bellerin, you know, for me, I feel like that would be quite a popular decision with Arsenal fans. So people in the chat can let us know whether they want to see those two people replaced. But for me, Xhaka for Bissouma would be a brilliant, brilliant bit of business. I don't know who the option is for Bellerin. Some people saying Max Aarons. I'm not convinced about that, to be honest with you. But, you know, I'm sure we can go and get a better performer than Hector Bellerin, in all honesty. Hector Bellerin is a brilliant guy. You know, I'd love to sit down and talk to him and everything. But on the pitch, he hasn't developed as much as I think he should have. Even though I don't think he's as bad as some people make out. But I don't know. What do you reckon, Shane? Would you be happy if Xhaka and Bellerin
listen,
are out?
I think Bellerin and Xhaka have been part of a group of players that have been at Arsenal for a long time and have not achieved anything. And it's time for them to move on. Xhaka, he hasn't. I don't think Xhaka is a Premier League type footballer. He's not a bad player. I think he will smash it in Italy or Germany or France, or he will kill it there. But English football is a little bit different. Bellerin, he's been here for a long time. He's come through the academy. It's time to move on. You know, we've been each other for a long time and we haven't really achieved anything. And it's time, you know, sometimes Hector Bellerin comes up with some comments more that are really worrying. I remember, I think it was this season that went past. We were playing, I think, Tottenham away, right? And just before the game, about, I think, 45 minutes before the game, he put out a tweet about something completely different. It had nothing to do with football. And I'm thinking, if you're going to play in North London derby, right? Why are you on your phone to start with?
That won't be him.
Like that?
If that was an hour before kickoff, that will not be him. I'm sure they'd have a no phones rule anyway. That wouldn't be him. But
you see where I'm coming from, though. The comment that he said about Alexis Sanchez or something that he said, he's a bit too much sometimes. He wants to, you know, that's what you should be like. And as I said, he's been here for a long time. Nothing has happened. It's time to move on. Maybe he can go back to Spain. And, you know, the fact that Real Betis wants to sign him just, you know, I think shows.
Yeah, but then on the other hand, Atletico Madrid apparently want to sign him. You know, but look, sometimes you have to connect the dots. When we signed Aubameyang, Batshuayi to Dortmund, Aubameyang to Arsenal, Giroud to Chelsea, and you connect the dots a little bit. So I'm always thinking when Fabrizio Romano was saying that PSG might be in for Hakimi, I'm thinking, all right, who can we get from PSG potentially? And I think Baka at PSG is a player, whenever I've seen him, I thought he's done quite well. And look, I haven't scouted him enough. I don't know enough whether he's the sort of player that we need, but I'd be very curious to see who potentially might fall down the pecking order at PSG. And when things start moving, new conversations can happen. If Arsenal signed Max Aarons, right now, I would have to say I won't be thrilled about it. You know, it's not something that excites me. But as the market starts to move, other players will become available.
Yeah, look, you see, Mo, you said a good point earlier that it's so well and good for bids to come in, but there's two elements to these bids. One, I don't have any confidence in Arsenal maximizing profit or income on these players. One, two, is that who they're gonna replace him with. I'll give you an example. If a bid comes for Aubameyang, right? I don't really have any confidence with the guys to maximize the money that comes in and then just go and buy an adequate replacement. So it's a very bad and difficult position to be in as a fan, because every time a bid comes in, you like Matteo Guendouzi. I've seen things like 10 million euros, 8 million euros. You know, and I'm just shocked at these figures. Yeah. This is a young guy. You know, he's got a lot of potential. Yeah, all right, he's a bit funny sometimes, but he's got a lot of potential, man. And for you to just get that money, it's not a good look.
I know what you mean. We don't sell very well at all. I mean, the two exceptions to that rule might be Chamberlain and Iwobi. You look at them now and you say, well, who's really talking about them? Yeah, we got 40 million plus for them. So yeah, good business there. But historically, Arsenal have been very, very poor at selling. And Guendouzi, I personally think that someone's getting a very talented player who is potentially quite immature right now. But the maturity will change and the talent will only go up as well. So I think in a few years' time, 5 years' time, if a club's looking at Guendouzi saying we got him for 20 million, that'll be very, very good business.
You know, I don't even know why we're selling the guy. If Mikel Arteta is this excellent guy that he brought X and Y, Z out of Raheem Sterling, and he's this, he's that, why can't he bring out something out of Matthew Guendouzi that is, you know, what is he got a bit of a difficult personality and it's a bit too much for everybody to handle. He's not really, you know, maybe sometimes maybe it's good to have characters like that who people, remember Brighton, right? When this whole thing happened with that forward Mope or something like that, right? Yeah. Matthew Guendouzi was the only one who reacted. Everybody else was like, he's the one. And sometimes we need something like that in the squad, man. And I just think that maybe is it a good idea to sell him? Is he not is he not better than El Neni to have on the squad?
Look, it's really, really tough for us to know what happens internally. El Neni and Guendouzi for me are very different players. El Neni is a sort of player that will keep a game ticking along. I've never seen him grab a game by the scruff of the neck, but I have seen that with Guendouzi, where I've seen that you're seeing the urgency and you're seeing him with this real desire. Now, the problem is, right, if, for example, with Arteta this season, it's been very difficult. Guendouzi might be the sort of player that will come in the dressing room and say, Mikel, it's not working. He might come in at halftime and say, Mikel, it's not working. We need to switch this. Mikel might not like that. He might feel undermined by that.
That's exactly my point, yeah.
That's the impression I get from Guendouzi, that he's not scared to kind of speak up above his years. Whenever you listen to footballers talk about the environment in a dressing room or within a club, it's very hierarchical. Younger players don't really challenge senior players. You won't get Nketiah and Balogun saying too much to Aubameyang and Lacazette. It's very, very rare. Now, Guendouzi might not be like that, and that might just ruffle some feathers. And at a club where the culture isn't that robust, isn't that able to deal with big characters and, you know, people that are desperate to win, maybe that doesn't go down very well. So I just feel like maybe Guendouzi needs to go somewhere where
maybe we should keep people like Matteo Guendouzi and get rid of Arteta and change manager. Because I'll tell you something, Matteo, if you see that character that you're talking about, somebody like Antonio Conte, will proper manage this guy. Yeah. And you probably get the best out of him. Right. And you know, Matthew, I can see this guy will becoming a top player in future, Guendouzi. And we just same thing with Saliba. You know, we just send him out. We spent 30 million on him, send him out on loan, and now we're like, oh, he smashed it in French league. We'll come back. And I just think again, someone like Antonio Conte would probably be able to get the best out of these guys.
Conte, look, you're so right about Conte. I wonder, Guendouzi under Simeone, Guendouzi under Conte, I think he would die for those managers. You know, I think agree. He would use his personality to the benefit of the team. And the one big question that I have on Arteta from last season is his man management skills. I think what he did to Aubameyang, for example, was unnecessary. You know, he should have dropped him, but not publicly. You know, I just think that there's a lot to be desired with Arteta's man management skills. And if someone said to me, you can get Antonio Conte, I would be delighted at that.
Well, every time we have Fabrizio, I ask him a question at the beginning. Is Arteta going to... And every time he tells me he's going to stay, which again, I think Allegri is now gone to Juventus.
Yeah.
Ancelotti has gone to Real Madrid. If Conte goes to Tottenham, right, and they end up doing really well, yeah, this is going to put the ownership of Arsenal and the board under extreme pressure, especially if Arteta doesn't do well. And that's going to be a problem because everyone's going to ask the question. This guy was available. Antonio Conte is not going to cost you anything right now. So you don't have to pay this release fee and clause, none of that. And you stick in with a guy that has just finished mid-table, out of Europe, no European football. So you're basically saying he's better than Antonio Conte.
Yeah.
And I don't understand that.
It will really, really ask the questions of the ownership. If Tottenham finish above Arsenal next season and they've got Conte, then that's it. The owners are to blame. So, and also I think to myself, look, let's be honest here. If a manager's willing to join Tottenham, they'll join Arsenal. I don't think there'll ever be a manager that will choose Tottenham and say no to Arsenal, in all honesty, especially with Harry Kane saying he wants to leave Tottenham. If I'm Conte, yes, they might get 150 million for Harry Kane, but I'd rather keep Conte. I don't want to lose my best player, one of the best strikers in the world. Harry Kane is. Let's be honest about that.
Yeah.
I would be so happy if we got Conte. Look at him in England. He reached the FA Cup final and won the league in his 2 years. In Italy, look at his performance over 2 years in Italy. This guy's a winner. I'd be so excited about next season if we had Antonio Conte.
Listen, track record. He's got a track record. Arteta's got nothing, one FA Cup. And I see some people in the fan base, they holding on to this FA Cup like he's won the Champions League. It's an FA Cup, man. Yes, we went through really difficult fixtures, put in shift. But at the end of the day, what did he do to back it up? Nothing. We had a really poor season. And you have to judge people season by season. Football managers live and die by results, as I'm sure you know. And I'm just surprised that we're not pulling a trigger and bringing somebody like Conte.
Yeah, but, I would love it. But that's the thing. All we can do now is, we know Arteta's not going anywhere. All we can do now is support him. There has to be no excuses. There's still a lot of people making a lot of excuses for Arteta. Next season, surely we can all agree there's no excuses now. He's going to have a full summer transfer window. He's, had plenty of time with the squad and adapting as a new manager. No coronavirus issues anymore. None of the rubbish excuses that I've heard for Arteta. He has to go on and perform now.
Yeah, and as I said to you, it's going to be a very, very difficult place for Mikel Arteta. Fans are going to be back, and for the board if he doesn't perform well. I saw earlier there's quite a few people coming here and say we're sent down here by Curtis Shaw. So big up to Curtis. He's a top guy. Thanks for sending this over. Subscribe to him as well. Make sure you guys subscribe to Mo's channel. So he's got videos coming up. We're just speaking offline with Mo, and we're working on a podcast that is once a week kind of thing next season to have Mo with us. So we'll go through like a flagship show that we have, and we'll go through the Arsenal issues and so on, so. And I just hope that is good and is positive. And we can only hope for a positive transfer window. Mo, if you got anything to say just to wrap up the show.
Yeah, look, this season, when I've been speaking about Arsenal, it has been honestly painful. I feel lucky that if there was a global pandemic in any season where we had to miss the games, it was this one, because my God, it was just not fun. Yeah. And to think all of that time, energy, effort spent at the stadium, go into the ground to watch what we saw this season has been awful. I just hope next year, if we're doing a podcast together in the Arsenal Lounge, we're talking about positives. We're talking about improvements. We're not talking about mid-table. I want to see us take every competition seriously, because we've got no European distraction either. I really want to see us make a good fist of both domestic cup competitions and perform in the league. So there can be no excuses next season. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to, that we should be set up now for a decent 21-22 season, and hopefully Arsenal can go and make a proper fist of it. And, I want top four as an absolute minimum. Okay? Absolute minimum.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you know what? There's a lot on the owners and the board and the manager to get it right this summer, because let's not forget Mikel Arteta is now part of the recruitment team at Arsenal Football Club, and he got this promotion that last season they put him now, and he's involved in. So I hope they get it right. We need to have a good season, and we've suffered enough as an Arsenal fans, years over years, and one good signing in the summer transfer window. I think maybe, hopefully things will change now.
Fingers crossed, man. And listen, even before that, we've got a whole summer of Euros and Copa America football to look forward to. I can't wait for that. It's been a long time since I enjoyed watching football. And now with the Euros, I can just switch off. With Copa America, I can just sit back and relax. It doesn't matter to me too much. I love Arsenal. No other club, no other national team gets to me how Arsenal gets to me. So it's going to be really, really nice to be able to sit there, chill out, watch good football, and not be pulling my hair out, because this season has been a nightmare.
Yeah, man. It has been. Speaking of which, about the Europeans, I know Lev is working on a few things that are for European games, that he wants to do a few shows, which is interesting. We're going to do twice a week shows with Eduardo in regarding transfer shows. That's going to start next week, and hopefully we're going to see Mo back with us next season. We're going to do player rating today, Mo, but I think maybe we'll leave that for another time. We've been going on for some time now, but I'll tell you one thing: if you had to give Arsenal a season rating from 1 to 10, right, with everything that has happened, 1 being disaster, 10 being top,
honestly 2. Maybe even less. Like
I was just say 2 is generous. You know what? You know what, Mo? Speaking of which, something really pissed me off a couple of days ago. I saw this, Arsenal Twitter. They're glorifying this Player of the Season award, who's coming in third, as if these players have achieved something and they've done something and they've had this magnificent season. And I was just thinking, have you guys got no shame, man? Just keep your mouth shut and move on to next season.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that you're still going to do it. You still have to do it. But the tone was a lot of fanfare. I would have thought that it'd be a little bit more sort of tail between your legs. Here's our players of the season.
Move on.
Sort of but yeah, the fanfare, I noticed that as well. And I thought to myself, if I showed that to like someone that's not into football and I said, how do you think this club did this season? I think they'd be like, yeah, just normal. Like they were in line with expectations. But, look, I think sometimes you can read into things too much. I do hear what you're saying. This is just an admin doing a job, potentially. And, he's not even an Arsenal fan, so why would he care?
There we go. It's just another thing that sums up Arsenal Football Club.
I personally would be saying to the admin, just capture the tone of the audience. It hasn't been a positive season. So when we're saying the best player, that's the best player of what has been a bad bunch. And I would just pay attention to that tone. But, Arsenal was Arsenal.
Yeah, but there we go. Anyway, man, listen, thanks for coming on. It was lovely seeing you as always. And hopefully we'll do bigger and better things together next season. I wish you a wonderful summer. We're going to be in touch together anyway, and then we might even do an odd show here and that if Fabrizio comes back on again. So yeah, man. But do you want to give people your channel name again so they can come and follow you?
Sure. It's just Mo Haidar. Just go onto YouTube, type in Mo Haidar, and I should come up. And yeah, I'll be doing my fan cams on the channel next season. So you're here kind of see me leaving the ground next season, talking about either the brilliant performance or the rubbish performance. Hopefully it'll be more brilliant than rubbish. And then on top of that, you'll catch me here. But I just want to say as well, appreciate all of the support. It's been absolutely overwhelming for me, honestly. The messages I've received have been absolutely lovely. And I appreciate that people have seen that what I've tried to do is actually just stand up for what I believe in. And I'll be doing a giveaway soon, actually, on my socials as well. So make sure you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Arsenal08. That hoodie that got me kicked off AFTV, you can have one. I'll send one to someone as a bit of a giveaway, because it's the least I can do to say thank you to everyone that's given me so much support. Because, social media can be quite brutal at times. And sometimes even if you do the right thing, people do not care. But I think people have recognized the fact that I've tried to carry myself with some integrity, and I do really appreciate all the love. So yeah, I'll be repaying that.
Nice one, man. On that lovely note, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe to obviously our channel, Arsenal Lounge. Subscribe to Mo channel. Subscribe to Curtis Show, who sent people here. Big up Curtis. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon.